Hey guys and gals and non-binary pals, hey friends, welcome back to Nerd Initiation after our little bit of a hiatus because we needed and we took a vacation last week. So welcome back. I know a couple of you were asking where we went. Hi Rob. Rob and Jason. They're the couple that were asking.
They noticed we didn't drop a new one.
Whoops. Well, welcome back. Here we are. And today we're going to do part 2 of our series on
Fan theories.
Fan theories. Yay. I love fan theories so much. They're like conspiracy theories for nerdy things and TV shows and things like that. Makes me happy.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to talk about.
Oh, most definitely. So, what are we starting with today? What is your thing today?
Well, my prop kind of gives it away here, or my decoration. I have a Hot Wheels DeLorean from Back to the Future.
Mm-hmm.
So mine specifically has to do with part 2 of the trilogy. Where basically some people think it's implied that Marty died and his death was prevented. So I'll read a little more about that from this article I have from crack.com. They got their information from somebody on Reddit who posted this theory.
Oh, I love Reddit theories. I love subreddits and all of that. There are some real crazy things out there on Reddit. I love just trolling through Reddit. I don't troll. I scroll is what I meant to say.
It's yeah, those are two different things. It's easy to get falling down the rabbit hole with Reddit.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's fun.
Reddit and YouTube are dangerous.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So this is what they state. There are subtle clues pointing in the direction of Biff running Marty down in his car. If you remember, there's a scene after the school dance where Biff is chasing Marty, who's on his hoverboard, and they're in a tunnel, and it looks like Biff is going to run him over.
Right. He's a jerk.
So this is what they're saying is they think the theory is that Marty died, he was killed by Biff, but we don't see that because Doc saw that it happened, had the DeLorean, went back in time to before that happened, and showed up just in the nick of time to save Marty. And they're saying this theory fixes a plot hole because during that climatic chase scene, Marty is about to disappear beneath the tires of Biff's muscle car, but is saved at the last minute by Doc, who lowers a rope made of construction flags down from the flying DeLorean to carry Marty to safety. Then, as we remember, Biff crashes into a truck full of manure.
Right. He's a little piece of shit.
But their question is, how did Doc know exactly where and when to drop the rope? He had no idea Marty was in trouble. He'd been hiding out, I think, out in the country, behind that billboard.
Oh, right.
While Marty was doing the thing at the dance.
Right.
Trying to get his parents back together. Well, other Marty was doing that. I'm going to get confused thinking of the plot of that movie.
Right.
There's no way he could have seen the chase while zooming around in the sky because Biff was chasing Marty through a tunnel. The only logical explanation for Doc knowing exactly where to show up to save Marty is that he's already seen it happen, meaning Marty had already been killed by Biff in an alternate timeline.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes so much sense. Or maybe not seen it happen, heard about it and kind of knew what was going on.
Right, yeah. Which is brutal.
It is.
Biff running him down like that.
Well, Biff's not exactly the nicest person in the world.
No, he's a bully.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just one death that was averted in that movie. There was a second one.
Yeah?
Do you remember when Marty confronts Biff in the alternate 1985 in the casino?
Mm-hmm.
And he said he knows about the sports almanac. That's how that Biff made his fortune.
Mm-hmm.
The alternate timeline Biff gets Marty up to the roof and he said he's going to shoot him unless he jumps off. So then Marty gets up on the ledge and hops off. But then Doc is there waiting, and the DeLorean rises up and Marty's on the hood of it. Doc saved him.
Mm-hmm.
The theory goes he really died then too, but Doc went back and fixed that.
I mean, it makes sense. It really does, because if Marty is still needed to like fix some things during the time, then Doc can't have him die, right? So that makes sense if Doc has the Mandalorian.
The Mandalorian. That's another show.
That's a different show. We'll talk about that one later. But if Doc has the DeLorean, then it would make sense that, you know, how else is he going to be able to know where to go? Because not even Marty's is gonna know what's gonna go on like in the future. So that makes so much sense. I believe that wholeheartedly, actually. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's something to it, because the main thing is Doc showing up out of nowhere when he's kind of unaware of what the situation is.
Yeah.
He knew to go to that point.
Exactly, because how else would Doc know unless something has already happened that made Doc aware, and then Doc does his thing and goes back in time.
That's the thing about having the time machine. He can correct
things.
Yeah.
That makes so much sense. I kind of like that, because like you can't have the main protagonist die. Well, I mean you can. It depends on what story. But in this kind of story, you can't have the main protagonist die. That just doesn't make sense. So yeah, because how else is he gonna know? Oh my god, that blew my mind. That is,
You like it?
I do. I enjoy that because
I like that one.
I think it's 100% true.
That one's right up there with Joey being the father.
Oh my god.
In fact, that was one of the other parts of that article, was that theory.
Oh, the Joey theory?
Yeah.
Oh my god. So if you missed that, if you missed part 1, I'll put a link to it up here. And we're talking about Uncle Joey being the father to all the kids in Full House. All of them.
Yeah. Not just DJ, Stephanie, and Michelle, even little Nikki and Alex.
That's right. But Back to the Future one. I mean, because it makes sense, because, well, doesn't, in the third one, doesn't Marty go back also to save the Doc when he dies in the Wild West?
Yes. Yeah, because Doc ended up back in 1885, and Marty found out that he died by getting shot by Buford Tannen.
Exactly.
So he goes back to save him.
Yeah, so it would make sense then that he maybe got that idea to save him by going back in time from the Doc doing that to him in the second one twice. I believe it.
Yeah.
That's a great theory. Oh, I love that. 100%.
I would love to see what the creator of Back to the Future thought of that, the screenwriter Bob Gale. I wonder if he really meant to imply that. He's probably heard the theory.
Do you think he's done any, like, interviews about it or something?
I don't know, maybe. I could look it up. One thing about Bob Gale is they had a Back to the Future comic book a few years ago, and he wrote it. So it was like with his blessing.
Oh, interesting.
So it filled in the gaps, like it told about like what Marty did after the events of the trilogy and things like that. So it was really good.
Oh, good. Did he marry the girl? Did he get the girl?
They were still together, yeah. They hadn't gotten married yet.
Well, that's okay. They're too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just out of high school.
Just out of high school, they're too young to get married. That's fine. As long as they love each other. That's correct.
I like how in the second one, when Marty gets fired, it's through like a video conference with his boss. And it's like that movie predicted how everybody like video conferences now.
Yeah. Well, and it's because it's true. We all video conference now. We all do. That's so funny.
His boss comes on and goes, McFly! I love that movie.
McFlurry.
So good.
I was just watching The Incredibles last night, and his boss does that, just like yells at him. It's so funny.
The Incredibles?
Yeah.
Also known as the best Fantastic Four movie ever made. Because a lot of people compare those characters to the Fantastic Four because they're
they
a
got
family of super people or whatever.
and they have the same kind of powers.
Yeah, like stretching and
Invisigirl.
Yep.
And brute strength and Dash is really fast and the other one is
Human Torch.
Human Torch, but I don't know, they go fast.
Yeah, Human Torch is fast.
Yeah, it makes sense. I like that.
Yep.
And I didn't notice until last night that it was set in like the 50s and 60s. I had no idea.
Oh yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Wow, I never noticed. Anyway.
Well, some movies do that thing where like they use different styles and fashions, so you don't know when it is. Like it's a nebulous time.
But they do use actual like fashion and things like that from the time, and the cars are from that time and everything. I just never noticed because they have all that high tech stuff.
Right.
But that's high tech stuff is like secret from the public because it's for supers.
You know, the 1989 Batman movie was like that. Like the cars and the fashions were like from the 40s and 50s, but they had modern technology too.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives it like a timeless feel because you can't really pin down when it is.
That's true. But that just goes to show, if you're special or have lots of money, you'll have all the cool gadgets.
This is true. Am I special?
Yeah.
Because I have lots of gadgets.
Do you?
No, I just
like,
have
do
lots
you?
of stuff.
You just have lots of stuff.
Lots of cool stuff.
Yeah. I don't have any gadgets either, if it makes you feel better.
No.
I don't even have a microwave.
Oh, you know what you need?
Not a microwave.
An air fryer.
Do I?
Hell yeah.
What?
They're life-changing.
So I've heard.
So you have a
Anyway.
fan theory you've been thinking about.
Anyway, yes,
Yeah.
I do. Yes, I do. So the one fan theory. It makes me furious.
The Fast and the Fan Furious.
No.
There's a movie series that probably has its own fan theories, I would imagine. Fast and Furious.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that they do. I've seen the first one around the time it came out, and I've never watched any of the other ones.
I have seen 0 of them. Just like I've never seen Harry Potter either. Uh-oh. I've seen this look before.
We're gonna have a Harry Potter weekend. There's no other choice. Me and Katie and I are gonna sit you down and you're gonna watch all 7 Harry Potter movies with us.
So what I'm doing is a callback to about an hour ago when Xana and my girlfriend Katie found out that I never saw Harry Potter, and then they like tag teamed me saying, yeah, you're gonna do it. They just pounced on me and they're all aggressive and it was scary.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a whole weekend. It's gonna be fun. I will live TikTok it because I don't have Twitter, so I can't live tweet it. But I'll make sure that we know what he's thinking while he's watching these movies. Because how fun would that be?
It's about like a little British boy, right?
It is about a little British boy and his British friends.
Oh, I like British people.
Yeah, British people are fun. Although one girl's Irish and she's real cute.
Oh yeah.
Luna.
Are there any Scottish characters?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. All right, I'm in.
Yeah. We're watching this. There's no other choice for me now. It just has to happen.
Yeah, I'll give it a whirl.
All right, sounds good. Yay! And then after I make you watch it, we'll do a whole podcast about Harry Potter. That sounds great.
That is a nerdy subject that I think a lot of our listeners would probably like. Yeah.
We're doing it. You let us know when you want to see that and demand it, and then we'll do it, and we'll force him to do it. How's that? We'll tag team it. Yeah.
Everybody gang up on me.
Yeah. How about everybody If you would like him to watch Harry Potter, comment down below. Let us know.
And then after that, we're going to watch the Fast and the Furious movies.
No, I refuse. Nope. We're going to pass on that. Hard pass.
You know, Katie's got to watch movies too. She's never seen any of the Marvel movies.
Katie! We need to get you to watch the Marvel movies too. Oh, that'll be another weekend.
Oh, that'd be like 2 weekends. There's a lot of those.
There are a lot of those. All right. So now we just remember when we used to do movie night once a week.
Yes.
We should do that again.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. Yeah. Yes. What a great idea. We're gonna start movie night again, because apparently there's a lot of things we have to get through. I have seen every single Marvel movie, except for the standalone Hulk movies.
Oh, you know, The Incredible Hulk is good.
Well, yeah. I don't know. They're not... I'm so used to Mark Ruffalo being Hulk that if he's not Hulk, it's weird.
You can't do Ed Norton.
It's weird to me, because I'm so... Now, after all these years, I'm just so used to it being Mark Ruffalo.
Ruffalo is good.
Ruffalo the Buffalo. I don't know why that just came out. Anyway.
Yes, what we were getting to... Based on your decor,
oh, that's right.
Xana has a fan theory that she's been thinking about lately.
Yes, and if you can't tell, it is a Star Wars theory. So, the Star Wars theory that I was reading about, and I've heard this theory many, many moons ago, and I think there's a lot of credence to it. It is the legend of the Sith Lord Jar Jar Binks.
Jar Jar?
Jar Jar Binks is a Sith Lord. What do you think of that?
Seems like a stretch, but I'm curious to hear why.
Well, the thing is, like, Jar Jar Binks is such an odd character, like, and there's many times where you see Jar Jar, like, he's, like, sneaking around in the background, or, like, he's standing outside of a door that they're talking into and they didn't realize he was there, or, like, it's his fault that some of these things happen, like by accident, that, you know, moves the plot along. Like,
yeah.
it feels like Jar Jar is, like, leading these people on where he needs them to go or to be, to, like, you know, move the plot along, maybe get Anakin to the dark side, that type of thing.
Like he's kind of a conspirator in the background, kind of thing.
Yeah, no, they're, like, when they go into Tatooine, and, like, Jar Jar, like, is suspiciously just, like, standing outside of doors and things like that, and it's weird.
So he's just a creeper.
He's a creeper, but, like, he's so oddly weird and annoying, and, like, nobody honestly, like, bats an eyelash at it, because they think, oh, he's just maybe stupid or something. So they talk...
Because he talks like a moron.
Right, because they talk freely, and, like, all of these things, and, like, he could be doing that as an act to, like, gain their trust, or to, like, at least not look or not feel so threatening. Like, he's not, look at me, I'm stupid, I'm not a threat type of thing.
Yeah.
You know? So he is actually in, like, a very good strategic place in the storyline with these people to kind of guide them where he needs them to go, but in a way that doesn't bring suspicion. And that's a very Sith thing to do. Also, if we look at his people that he comes from, they're not exactly nice people, right? The Gargans or whatever.
The Jar Jarians.
The Jar Jarians. Like, they're not exactly personable people. So, I mean, I'm not making a judgment on a whole group of people based on the few that we've seen, but Jar Jar does seem a little different from them all, right? Mm-hmm. And even his people are, like, kind of distrusting of him, right?
Yes.
Right. So
that makes sense.
That makes sense, right? And then later on, you know, he's rising in the ranks for whatever reason, right? Because isn't he, like, in like the third?
Senate?
Yeah, like the second or third movie, he rises ranks into the Senate. And what do we know about the Senate? It is
corrupt.
It is corrupt because it is Palpatine.
Yes.
I am the Senate.
That's right.
And if he's working closely with Palpatine, how do we know he hasn't always been? How do we know, like, Palpatine didn't send him into this group of people to gain their trust with, you know, Amidala and things like that?
So it's like Palpatine was just pulling the strings all along. Yeah.
And Jar Jar is one of his apprentices.
That makes a lot of sense.
Right?
Yeah, I think there could be something to that.
Doesn't it make weirdly good sense?
Yeah, and plus it gives the character more purpose aside from just being
a dumbass,
stupid comic relief or whatever he was meant to be.
Right, because all that time he's like, so it shows him, instead of him just like, you know, flailing around, he's like a serious dude, right? Because he's in the Senate, and he's like calmer and not crazy or stupid. So it just feels like he was set there on purpose to gain their trust and to gain or to gain knowledge of them for Palpatine, for the Senate, and, you know, work with Amidala to rise in the ranks.
So you're saying, like, that serious side of him, that's probably the real Jar Jar? Yeah.
Yeah, it's probably more like the real Jar Jar. Yeah, he still acts nice and things like that, but, you know, he's still trying to, you know, climb ranks in the Senate, and, you know, he doesn't want to, show his true hand until it's necessary, because he's a freaking Sith Lord, and they're sneaky, sneaky, sneaky. Very, very sneaky, sir.
This is true. He was playing the long game.
The long con.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he was around when Anakin was little, and then Anakin grew up.
And he was around then, too.
Yep.
And weird. I mean, he talks to Anakin, and the next thing we know, Anakin is talking to... I mean, I'm not saying it's Jar Jar's fault that Anakin's talking to Palpatine, but I'm saying, like, it's weird that Jar Jar is in the Senate. The Senate is Palpatine. Jar Jar is suspicious. Ergo, I don't trust Jar Jar. It makes sense, right?
Yeah, it does.
Weird.
That's a good one.
I know. It's crazy. But yeah, so I will, like I said, I'll post the links down below of the different articles and everything like that we are using to get these
theories.
Get these movie theories, and you'll see for yourself how freaking crazy it is, because Jar Jar's evil.
Now, like I was speculating about Bob Gale from Back to the Future, what he would think. What would George Lucas think of your Jar Jar theory?
That's, you know...
He'd be like, that's what I meant to do the whole time.
Yeah, totes. It's, yeah, Jar Jar's evil. Yeah, just, you know, chill. Go with that. I like it. Anyway.
So, I have another theory I was just thinking of. I thought of it because I'm looking at that space behind the camera where I have my little James Bond collection. Amongst James Bond fans, this is probably one of the most common fan theories. Most people know James Bond is like a British secret agent. It's been around since the 60s. They've done, when the new movie comes out, No Time to Die, which I think is going to be later this year, he'll have 25 movies out.
Wow.
It's been around since 1962 in the movies.
Right.
One thing people, are usually pointing out about the character is that he's been played by multiple actors over the years. Sean Connery and Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Pierce Brosnan, George Lazenby did one movie. Daniel Craig has been James Bond since 2006.
Can I guess it?
Yeah.
Are you going to say that James Bond is actually like the title instead of like the person?
You got it.
I know that theory.
James Bond is a code name. That's why there have been so many different looking guys doing it. Because the movies make it seem like it's all the same guy, just the actor changes. One thing you notice about the movies, though, is all the supporting characters, they all remain the same. Q, M, Miss Moneypenny, all the same actors for years.
True. That's very true.
But Bond looks different.
But Bond is different every
Because
time.
it really is a different guy.
That makes sense, because then James Bond at that point would be like you said, like a code name, or like the title that he's given at a certain point in his spy, workings. Like it's a level of spy that you can aspire to be.
Yeah, it's like the top code word.
I've heard that theory before, and I like it because it does make a lot of sense that it is a different person, but it's always Judi Dench.
That's right. Yeah, Judi Dench, that's another thing. M featuring her as the character, that started in the 90s with the Pierce Brosnan movies.
Mm-hmm.
That continued into the Daniel Craig ones.
It sure did.
And one thing I think about too is that character did age over time. They wanted to imply, at least from 1962 to 1985, it was still the same guy. So that's a period of 23 years. So that's between Sean Connery and Roger Moore, with a one-off with George Lazenby.
Mm-hmm.
The character aged, by 1985's A View to a Kill film. He was visibly older. He was in his probably mid to late 50s.
Yeah.
And same actress playing Moneypenny, same actor playing Q. I think they had gotten a new M in, but I think M was a code word that different people would become M. Eventually, Judi Dench did.
Right.
So they were on the second M, I think, in 1985. But then suddenly, you get 1987's The Living Daylights, and James Bond is suddenly 20 plus years younger. He's played by Timothy Dalton.
Mm-hmm.
So suddenly, he's much younger and a different guy. Still the same Q.
Mm-hmm.
Still the same M who had been around the last few movies. But there was a new Moneypenny.
Oh.
There was a younger Moneypenny. So it almost makes me wonder, is that a code name too? It could be.
It could be. Maybe like when if they switch Bonds, they switch Moneypennies.
Yeah, but they never explain that in story. Like, suddenly by 1995's GoldenEye, it's Pierce Brosnan, who's chilling out with Q,
right.
who's like an old man because he's been around for 30 years in the movies, aging the whole time, while this James Bond aged and then got younger. So the only way to explain that would be multiple guys using the code name James Bond.
I think that has a lot of credibility to it, because his job, James Bond's job, is very dangerous, things like that. It could be that James Bond dies on the line of duty, and so they need a new James Bond, because it has to be like one of those things, you have to have like a queen or whatever, if you have a monarchy, or you have to have a king. And so in that kind of case, that's for that reputation, that person who has something like that is now like, you have to have a James Bond. Or like in The Winter Soldier, they got a Captain America, but it's not Captain America. But like they explain it away and they do things like that, whereas James Bond, because it's a secret spy network, so they're not going to tell you.
Exactly. Plus, it makes sense to be a code name in that James Bond is always out and about, like announcing who he is and what his name is and all that kind of stuff.
James Bond.
Yeah, like he's at every casino and fancy restaurant, like just saying who he is and whatever.
Yeah. If he's like a spy, he can't have his like real legal name.
Exactly. Now here's where it gets interesting. Once we get to 2006 and Casino Royale, that's when Daniel Craig takes over. And at first glance, you might think that's a continuation because Judi Dench is still M.
Yeah.
But I think what they meant to do with those movies is what they call like a soft reboot or reboot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were kind of following the formula of, like, the Batman movies at the time, like Batman Begins.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be a younger James Bond just starting out in that movie, Casino Royale.
Yeah.
So then...
A younger of one of the James Bonds. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So then they get to... This is where the theory kind of goes off the rails and might be a little more difficult to explain. 2 movies later in Skyfall, James Bond has to go back to his childhood home to defend himself against the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they talk about his parents dying. He might go to his parents' grave, and his parents' last name's Bond.
Bond.
So that does make it seem like it has always been James Bond, always the same guy.
Or it's just a last name and it's a coincidence. You don't know. Or the government can be like, ooh, we need to, step in and say they're Bonds because their son had it could be
concoct a story.
Concoct a story, or because their son has become James Bond. It's like, like in the military now, like, I don't know, it's like a respect thing. Like, oh, son has now earned the title of Bond, so thus his family can take that name of Bond.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that.
It's possible.
You don't know.
There are other continuity errors, though, with those movies. Like 1989's License to Kill, James Bond acknowledges that he had a wife who died. That happened 20 years prior in 1969's On Her Majesty's Secret Service.
Mm-hmm.
But this is younger James Bond we're talking about. So I wonder if they were trying to do one of those sliding timelines. That's what they do in the comic books, where they don't age the characters in real time. Like, time goes slower in the comic verse.
Right. Maybe
Maybe they were trying to slow things down in the James Bond universe.
Could be. Well, I mean, if he has earned the title Bond, are you saying did they say her last name was Bond when she died?
She was a Bond too, yeah.
So it's like I said, it's a honor bestowed on that family because that one individual has earned the title of Bond of 007.
And they mentioned his wife a couple times in I think it was 1980s For Your Eyes Only. He goes to her grave.
Mm-hmm.
But that could be the new Bond just acknowledging his predecessor's wife or whatever, who has that name bestowed on her or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they could have enormous respect for each other, all the Bonds.
Yeah, like they're kind of like a family in a way.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
Like a band of brothers kind of thing.
Maybe, yeah. Do you think the one Bond could groom the next Bond or something like that? Not groom. What am I thinking of? Train?
Or get mentor.
Mentor.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's a better word than groom.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, and then that kind of makes it to where now they have a reason to acknowledge each other, a reason to acknowledge that, because if they're mentoring and they get to know each other and their family, something like that.
In Skyfall, if you've seen it, he goes back to his parents' old house, and there's an old man caretaker of the house who is an old family friend. What I read was originally, I can't remember the name of the actor they got to do it, but originally they were thinking of getting Sean Connery. So that could have been almost an in-story wink that the caretaker of the Bond home was the original James Bond. That would have been so sweet!
That would have been awesome. Do you think he turned it down?
I think he did, because he retired after 2003's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which...
I like that movie.
Which is okay, people do like it. A lot of people didn't like it. It wasn't a big performer at the box office. So that's when Connery said, I'm done. I'm done with this shit. No
more. No, I like movies. Most of the movies I like, people don't like, so whatever. Mm-hmm. It's fine.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think that's a fun theory. It's fun to play around with that universe.
Yeah, totally.
And it makes me wonder what they're going to do next, because this next movie is going to be Daniel Craig's last. So we're going to be looking at another Bond again.
Here in a few years, yeah.
And there's been rumors about him being a person of color or maybe even a woman.
I heard Idris Elba was in talks for it or something like that. He would be so amazing.
Do you know who else I heard? Henry Cavill. Which would be in keeping with the ruggedly handsome British white guy. He'd be good.
True. And you know how much I enjoy Henry Cavill's movies.
I thought you'd like that.
Yes, I do.
I even heard Tom Hiddleston's name thrown out there.
I like Tom Hiddleston a lot. I think he's super interesting. Do I think he's Bond? I don't know. I don't know if has that suaveness about him to be Bond. I like him a lot.
About it.
There's something chaotic about him, which I enjoy. I like it. And he's got an interesting way about him, Tom Hiddleston. But I would be very happy with Idris Elba or Henry Cavill. Any one of those, I'm like, yes, thank you, please. Because they're both so incredibly talented.
Did you ever see or hear about the little video they did for the 2012 Olympics in London?
Who?
It shows like
him and the Queen?
Yeah, him and the Queen. and jump out a plane and they're like parachuting.
Yes.
That was so awesome.
Yeah. The Queen, like, everybody's so shocked that the Queen she didn't jump out the plane, but she actually shot that footage, like, in Buckingham Palace and everything like that. That is her. Those are her corgis. Like, and then,
that was historic, her meeting a James Bond like that. Right? Very cool.
That's so
because
cool.
Because that's who he does it for. Queen and country.
That's right. That's so cool that she did that. And apparently what I heard is she went off script a lot.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Like that I was watching something about like the Queen. I was watching like a documentary of her or something like that.
She's
and they
like
talked about it.
Ad-libbing.
Yeah. She like ad-libbed a little bit. They like told her like, this is what you have to say. And she's like, okay. And then she just did whatever she wanted anyway. And I'm like, that's the Queen.
Yeah, you don't give the Queen direction.
No, the Queen's gonna do what the Queen's gonna do. And I thought that was awesome. And she actually did a James Bond thing. Queen was a Bond girl. I love it.
That's it. The ultimate Bond girl.
The ultimate Bond girl. 100%. I thought that was so witty and so amazing that they did that.
It's pretty cool.
Yes, I like that. Because that's exactly. James Bond is, that's his queen.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really cool. Yeah, I agree.
That was a good video.
It really was. Your little corgis.
You like the doggies?
I love corgis. I love dogs. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
All animals.
All animals with those squishy faces that are just going to squish their faces.
What about kittens?
I love kittens.
Me and Katie just got a new kitten, and Xana was bonding with him earlier.
Should I go bring him in? Do you think Katie will part with him for a second?
I think he's taking a nap.
He's taking a nap. Yeah, that's fair.
But we will have the kitty on sometime for you video viewers, so you can see the little kitten.
Oh, he's so
very
cute.
His name is Ziggy.
His name is Ziggy.
And Xana is the godmother.
I know. I love it so much. I was so honored when he was like, would you be the godmother to Ziggy Stardust? And I'm like, yes, of course. Yes, of course.
Yes.
I am so honored.
1,000 times yes. So great.
As you wish.
So do you have any other fan theories you've been thinking about?
I brought mine. That was the one I had.
Star Wars was the big one?
Star Wars was the big one for me.
I found another article on Cracked, and we'll post the link for this one too. There's some good ones in this one. I'm seeing this for the first time. Look at this one. Monica and Joey from Friends are major drug addicts.
What?
Let me see what I could find out on this one.
I don't know if I mean, yeah, she's neurotic.
Here's one thing they point out. Monica rotates through a seemingly never-ending number of restaurant jobs. Like, she's not stable enough to keep the same job.
I don't know if I believe that one.
Here's some other parts to it. She has to ask her brother for a loan when she loses her job. She lives with her roommate in a rent-controlled apartment. And despite having spent her entire life planning her wedding, she doesn't have any money saved. Coupled with the fact that she's not a big spender or party animal, the most likely explanations we're left with are that either she can't stop splashing her cash on nose candy, or that Central Perk charges $50 for a latte. Now let's see what they say about Joey.
Okay.
Now you're not buying Monica, right?
I'm not buying
She's neurotic, but not a drug addict.
That's right. I mean, if they're gonna make the case like she used cocaine to like lose a ton of weight in 1 year, I mean, maybe we can make that case. Mm-hmm. But because there is between one, I think Christmas vacation and another Christmas vacation when Ross comes home for like Christmas dinner and he brings Chandler. The first time she's, you know, a little chunky monkey Monica, and you know, Chandler's like, huh, yeah, whatever, like kind of making fun of her, and then that made her like depressed and lose weight, and she didn't want to eat the rest of the pie. So, but then like they flash to the very next summer, or not flash, it's probably like the next year or whatever, I forget. But the very next summer, Ross comes home and brings Chandler, and Monica is like Monica now, like she's this thin. Mm-hmm. So I mean, maybe that's where they're getting it from. Maybe that she used some type of help to lose the weight.
I'd have to go back and check when exactly, but I heard theories online. It's around season 3 or 4 that Courtney Cox actually died and they replaced her with a lookalike.
Oh my god.
Because her appearance kind of changes a little bit. I don't know if that's tied into the weight loss thing or if her plastic surgery just kind of like got out of control.
Yeah.
But people say she looks really different. And that kind of like is a companion to the whole Paul McCartney is dead, replaced by a lookalike theory that's out there. Or Avril Lavigne's another one. Yeah.
But no, she actually went through like a pregnancy or two.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then you know she
when she was married to David Arquette.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she kind of went through some weight changes because of that.
That could be part of it.
And her plastic surgery. She looked.
Which I heard now she regrets.
Yeah. Yeah, because she did kind of look kind of crazy because she had a show after Friends where her character was like a big drinker. She drank a lot of wine. I forget what it's called. Cougar Town.
Oh,
and she did not look like herself in that show. Like she did not look like Monica in that show at all, which is interesting because of her plastic surgery.
Or maybe it's because it's someone else.
Okay.
Did you see the Friends reunion?
Yeah, I did.
How was it?
I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. It was cute. I mean, they kind of just went over the Friends things and had like a Q&A and like some fun stuff with like all of the actors did like their little Jeopardy questionnaire thing like they did on the show.
Yeah.
When they traded the apartments, you know?
Yep.
That was real cute. I liked that. But and they had like guest stars on there. You know, like Richard came on, and Richard's one of my favorite characters from Friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about Marcel?
Everybody hated Marcel, by the way.
Oh, they talk about that?
Oh, they talked about Marcel.
Plus, I imagine Marcel's dead.
You know, could be. But yeah, everybody hated Marcel on set. It was pretty funny. Like David, Ross.
Yeah.
David Schwimmer just hated working with Marcel. Like he stated it vehemently.
But he was a cute little monkey.
I mean, yes, he's a cute little monkey. But I don't know if I'd want to work with a monkey, personally. But I'm not an actress, so whatever, it's fine.
You work with me.
Like you calling yourself a monkey?
Maybe.
Oh my god. You're hairy. You're hairy
I
enough.
am very hairy. Oh, so getting on to the other character, Joey. This is what they say about Joey. He's easier to diagnose. He's not really dumb, just constantly stoned.
And his obsession with sandwiches.
Yeah, like they're saying he's basically your college roommate, a pothead who can't stop eating your food when he's not falling asleep or missing the point of every word spoken to him. He also, like Monica, works in an industry rife with drug uses, the entertainment industry. Plus, it's interesting to note that he does get dumber and dumber as the seasons progress.
He does. I've noticed that too. Like in the first couple of seasons, in the first season or so, like he's not as dumb. He makes like sarcastic quips, you know, some jokes and things like that. And he talks about things where in later episodes, like it's like it left his mind. Like, for instance, an Adam's apple. Like, he has talked about an Adam's apple before, but then later on he calls it, like, a Joey's apple. And Chandler goes, like, how many times do I have to tell you? It's not named after the individual person.
That's hilarious.
or my favorite is, it's a moo point. You know, because, like, a cow's opinion, it doesn't matter. It's a moo point.
I like that.
I do too. I say that all the time. I just said that at work the other day.
And everyone's like, what?
What the hell? It's hilarious. But yeah, like there are little things like that where it does seem like his character gets dumbed down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm fine with. I mean, it's
From
funny.
weed.
From drug use. Yeah. All right. I
Those
mean,
are
like,
fun.
for Monica, for the reasons they give, I don't agree with, but for the reason I stated, I could see it. But I mean, I can see Joey. But Joey's such like a family man, you know? I mean, yes, he's like a womanizer, but like with his own family, like all of his sisters and everything, he wants to protect them. I don't know.
That's true.
But doing drugs doesn't make you evil or bad. It just, you know, makes you kind of dumb.
Out of it. Yeah.
Thank you. Makes you kind of... Anyway.
It's great.
Well, everyone, thank you for being here today. No, thank you for being here today. I'm just kidding. I just have one more question, and Jason, it's for you.
Oh, what's that?
Yeah. Are we nerds now? I'm including everybody on this one. Welcome.
Not quite yet, young Jar Jar.
Oh,
But soon.
cute.
You're well on the way.
To you, I say. To you.
Thanks for hanging out with us, gang. Remember to click like and subscribe to us on YouTube. Listen to it on Anchor and Spotify. We'll see you again next week.
Remember,
Nerd your heart out.